Hey everybody, it is Nathan and Blake. We are back from the academic symposium. We put on Aught is Love, the play that I wrote and directed and acted in for a lot of people. And if you haven't seen that yet, there's a full-length video of it on my channel. You should totally check that out. And we had a lot of fun. We enjoyed it. Our audience was great. They laughed at it and they were engaged, and it was a very good trip. And it also brought forth a lot of stories that I'm probably going to be telling in the next few days. I'm filming this on my phone again because we had quite an adventure getting back, and I wasn't able to make a video this weekend, so I'm dishing one out right now so that y'all can know about some of the things that happened. There's one in particular story that I'd like to talk about. So, you know how airports can sometimes be difficult for people with disabilities? There are a lot of hoops that they often have to jump in, getting through TSA. There's a lot of people around, so it's very stressful if you have a sensory disorder like I do. And there's also people that have curious questions, and they ask them, and most of the time questions aren't a bad thing, but sometimes they can be a little nosy. So after I had already boarded the plane, this man came up to my group, who I wasn't there. They were still waiting at the terminal, and he asked them. So I noticed that the other person in your group had had a dog there. Is that a bona fide service dog? And then one of my group members was like, "Yeah, she's a bona fide service dog." And that's not an uncommon question. That's not necessarily a bad question. But then he followed up with it by being like, is she not an emotional support animal? And she's not an emotional support animal. So, my group was like, no, she is a service animal. And then he was like, oh yeah, because they're starting to crack down on emotional support animals. Because there's a story where someone tried to bring an emotional support pelican or something, and they're starting to crack down on those emotional support animals. And again, they were like, well, she is not an emotional support animal. She is a service dog. And I'm sure a lot of them were probably thinking, and she's clearly not a pelican. So I don't know why you're bringing this up. And then he just kind of continued. He was like, oh yeah, well, I just wanted to make sure, that y'all knew that they are starting to crack down on those emotional support animals. And that's when Jess kind of gave her her smile that is kind of an angry smile that she does sometimes, where she was just like, well, it's a service dog, not an emotional support animal, a service dog for a disability. And at that point, he just kind of walked away. And basically, what it seemed like was he was either accusing us of having an emotional support animal that we didn't need or whatnot, or he was trying to basically tell us like, hey, I know that you're doing something wrong. Just want to make sure that you know that I know. And that can sometimes get a little irritating. Like when you're in public with a service animal, you have the service animal in order to maintain a level of independence. And when people are asking nosy questions like that everywhere you go, it can sometimes defeat the purpose of it. Plus, I want to talk a little bit about the idea of accommodation vigilantism, where people take it upon them when they see someone that does not appear to be disabled utilizing a disability accommodation. They often say something, and they often take it upon themselves to be like, well, this person clearly doesn't need this disability accommodation, so I'm going to find some way to try to shame them or let them know that I think what they're doing is wrong or something like that. But the issue is, a lot of people have invisible disabilities. I have an invisible disability. Most people don't look at me and immediately think, oh, well, that guy is definitely autistic. And that is the case for a lot of people on the spectrum and a lot of people with disabilities. And we should not have to deal with that. I strongly believe that it is better to let a person get away with having a fake service dog than it is to to falsely accuse an actual disabled person of abusing an accommodation. So what I want you all to leave this video thinking is that it's better to just mind your own business. It's better to just live and let live. You don't know that person's experience. You don't know why they might need that accommodation. So don't risk falsely accusing a person that is already going through the struggles that come with being disabled of improperly trying to alleviate those struggles. So that's today's video. Thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, give it a like, a share, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Check out some of my other stuff, and I will see you next week.